Welcome to 2023. I wish I could have been with you on January 1st, but I woke up with a sore throat, stuffy nose, and really not camera ready. My name is Tammy, your leadership and communication skills guide, and today we're talking about New Year's resolutions and why I think you should do this instead. So we're talking about how to pick a word for the year in place of trying a resolution. Now, if resolutions work for you, absolutely stick with that. My experience has been that I typically will pick a resolution that is popular for the sake of picking a resolution, such as lose a few pounds, exercise a little more, eat a little healthier. But it didn't take long before those resolutions were soon lost in the weeds of the day, and I forgot about what my resolution was because it didn't really do anything for me. I didn't have a reason for that particular resolution. Last year, I opted to pick a word, and it really seemed to work well for me. And I want to share with you, first of all, what that word was, and I'll give you a little bit of history as to how it evolved over the year. And then I want to share with you my word for this year, for 2023. Now, if you've done this practice before, I would love to hear about your experience and what your word is for 2023 in the comments below. In 2022, actually in 2021, I was really becoming aware of the lack of joy I felt in my life. And it had been happening for years before that. My children, when they were younger, would play me video clips. Hey, Mom, look at this. And they would be laughing the whole time I'm watching it. So you know they've seen it a few times. And my response was always like, that's funny. And I remember my son looking at me with these really quizzical eyes, like, why are you laughing? And my response became, I laugh on the inside, buddy. I don't laugh on the inside. And I started to hear myself say that. And I was like, what is going on with me? I realized through all the years of the trauma with the workplace bullying and the multiple exposures to difficult relationships that I had shrunk down my emotional capacity to the point that I was protecting myself from feeling the pain, but I could no longer feel the joy. And so I was on the quest last year to find out if I actually even felt happy. So using the word happy as my guide, I asked the very first question of, do I even feel happy? And within a couple of weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks coming in, that word started to show up and I'm like, oh, there it is. That's happy. I'd forgotten what that was like. I hadn't focused on it in so long. And it was like a little flame, just a little awareness that it was there. And as I recognized, oh my gosh, I do feel happy, the question evolved into, what makes you happy, Tammy? And that led me into further months of exploration. And then at some point, I just realized I was laughing out loud, joyfully, authentically, and randomly. Not like randomly sitting there and all of a sudden bursting into laughter. That sounds funny. But when someone would show me a meme, or they would show me a video, or something happened on the TV, like it was moments that were random for me because I hadn't laughed in years. Truly. Deeply. I was feeling happy. And so the power of that word became the focus. And there's a saying that says, where your mind focuses, it grows. So when I focused on happy, that grew in my life. And there's a few ways in which you can pick a word for you. And I'll share those 3 kind of strategies to help you pick a word if you're interested in trying this on for 2023, or if you've done it before and you'd like to experience it in a new way. I'll share with you how I worked with it. And I'll do that right after I share with you my word for 2023. It is listen. Now that word kept whispering to me over the last couple of months. And it's interesting. I don't think if I focused on happy, I wouldn't have found listen. And I was really trying to push that word away. I'm like, nah, that's not a word for 2023. I want abundance or growth or manifestation. All of these words were so interesting to me. And I almost had a little bit of FOMO when I'd see others declare their word as being abundance. I was worried that if I didn't pick that word, I wouldn't have abundance. But I quickly realized that the word of 2022, happy, gave me abundance in many ways. So I know the word listen is also going to give me abundance. And I was able to just really accept that that was the word that was coming to me, and that is going to be the word that guides me in 2023. Now, if you do use a word, I'd love to hear what it is again in the comments below. And if you don't, here's 3 things that you can do to pick a word. The first is to get a piece of paper and pen, and you're going to write down all the words that come to mind when you think, what would I like more of in my life? Put them all in there. Wealth, friends, love, money, peace, quiet. And then you're going to write, what would I like less of in my life? Drama, toxic people, put it all in there. Whatever that is for you, the more and the less, write it down. Step 2 is going to look at that list in its totality. And I recommend circling all the words that really stand out to you. When you look at that and you go, oh, you know what? Peace is the word. I'm just like attracted to that word. Circle it. If you're also attracted to the word abundance, circle it. And when you're done circling, take a step back and go, which one would I love to use as my guide for this year? Now, if you're having a hard time choosing, then you can choose 2 or 3, choose up to 5, doesn't matter to me. What matters is that the words you pick, you're using to reflect on throughout the days of the next year. Let them come to you and ask questions around those words. How is it showing up for you today? What is the impact of listening, for example? And then you will see the power of a word. So do share with me in the comments below. I read all of the comments. I will interact with you. I would love, love, love to hear your word of 2023.